Hello there. I'm Rob Fugate. I'm the other project leader for the photography project for the Knellsville 4-H Club. I'm currently at UW-Madison for the rest of the semester, and I will therefore not be able to do many of the spring meetings with you. Despite this, I really want to help you have a positive experience in the photography 4-H project, and as a result, over the course of the next few months, I will have several videos that I'll cover stuff that I think is relevant for you to know for the project, and to help supplement stuff in case you cannot attend a meeting. If you want to know more about a subject matter in particular, these videos will be here to help you in that. A little bit about me first. I was in the project with Knellsville for about 10 years. For those years, I was the youth leader for the project, and this will be my second year being an adult leader for the project. I've greatly enjoyed this. This is probably my favorite 4-H project I was ever in. I discovered that I'm really good at photography through 4-H. Originally, I got into the project because I got a camera for Christmas, and I really wanted a PS2 instead, but Santa thought it was better for me to get a camera, so I got a camera, and after playing around with it for a bit, I realized that photography is a lot of fun. It's something I can really express myself with, and it's honestly one of my favorite hobbies at this point in my life. I honestly wish I had more time to do photography, but it is an absolutely terrific thing to get into, so congratulations for starting this project. It's a very, very good project to be a part of. For me in particular, I have, over my time in doing photography, I've noticed that I like a few styles of photography more than others. Personally, I am more partial to black and white as opposed to color. I just find it to be a much more expressive means of photography. By no means does that mean that I don't do color photography. I do a lot of color photography, but if I can get a shot in black and white, I'm a lot more excited about that. The photos I take a lot of are architecture in particular, so pictures of buildings, pictures of monuments. Those are very fun for me to take photos of. I'll take photos of still life, which is objects that are not moving per se. So antiques, old things, technically cars that are at an auto show would be considered still life. I prefer old farm equipment. That's a lot of fun for me to take a picture of. And then my all-time favorite thing to take photos of right now is macro photography, which is super close-up stuff. So pictures of bugs, where it's not just like zoomed out quite a ways, it's zoomed in really close. You can see all the fine details on them. Pictures of small trinkets, pictures of flowers really up close. If I can get shots of those, that is where I'll spend most of my time when I have the opportunity to do photos. So when I started the project, I originally started with a point-and-shoot camera, which is what I'm assuming most of you are going to be using for this. Point-and-shoot cameras, there should be one displayed on the screen right now, are typically the cameras that most people get. They're smaller, more compact, have a lot of nice features, and are a great entry point into the project. I highly suggest using one of these if you have it. Just a dedicated camera is amazingly good to have. Some members may be using DSLR cameras, which are the more professional cameras, and I'm using professional in a very loose sense in the fact that it's the ones that have interchangeable lenses, typically a very high price tag relative to other cameras. By no means does that mean they're like much better, but they do have additional features. They're a lot harder to learn. That's the one thing I'd really stress. If this is your first or second year in the project, really DSLRs are not where you should be starting off. Point and shoots are a terrific point for you to use. It can honestly get you through your entire photography career just fine. I only switched over to DSLR in my last 2 years of the project. That was when I realized that photography was something I wanted to continue for the rest of my life. So totally preferential. If you have a DSLR, cool. If you have a point and shoot, terrific. It's all a matter of opinion. I know it will come up at some point during the year. Smartphones. Everybody, or almost everybody, has a smartphone at this point, and as we know, technology keeps on getting better. Smartphones are acceptable for the project with a few stipulations. This is my opinion personally. If you're using an iPhone, it needs to be the iPhone 4S or later, so iPhone 5, iPhone 5S, iPhone 6, iPhone 6 Plus, etc. Those are all good. If you're using Android, I can't go through all the models because there's too many, but the Galaxy S3, Galaxy S4, Galaxy S5 are all good. Galaxy Note 2, Galaxy Note 3, and I think Galaxy Note 4 are all good. Basically, the thing that I'm looking for if you're using a smartphone camera, first off, is that it has a 8 megapixel rear camera. I'm not sure if you actually paid attention when you bought your phone. I don't expect anybody to. It's just a phone. But 8 megapixel typically means you can blow your photo up quite a bit larger, which is something you're really looking for. Any phones earlier than what I mentioned don't have this. The camera technology just wasn't there for it. They're still fine for taking fun photos. They're just not very good if you're going to be entering those photos in the fair. All the cameras that I listed, and there should be a list somewhere. I'll put a list somewhere either like below, like right here or something. Those ones are all good to use. They all have an 8 megapixel rear camera. And what I mean by a rear camera is that on my phone, this is the rear camera, the side that does not have a screen. This one on the front does not work. This is not good for taking photos that you're going to enter in fair or photos that you want to blow up and have on your wall. Not the right quality. This one good, this one bad. Final note, no filters. Please do not upload your photo immediately to Instagram, delete the original, and then upload your filtered photos into the fair. You always want to keep your original copy of the photo if you can. Filters are a no-go. Typically, the filters are cool for photos that you want to share with your friends. They are not very good in terms of actual photography merit. Black and white filters typically aren't true black and white. That's something we'll cover later in the year, but just so you know, please do not use filters if you can help it at all. With your cameras, if you ever have questions about them, I am more than happy to try to answer them. As semester progresses, things get a little bit more busy on my end, so I'm less likely to be able to assist you, but I'll still try to find the time to throw in a message or two and help you out with that. If you lost your manual for your camera, I would suggest Googling the model of your camera and then going to the manufacturer's website and downloading a PDF version of it. That'll be the exact same as the one that you bought, and that'll probably cover the majority of the questions you have about your camera. So that is probably the best bet for you. Other equipment you'd like to consider probably for the project, having an SD card. Your camera should have one by default, but getting a bigger one isn't always the worst decision. Just to always have one with you, or to have one that has extra space. I suggest 4 to 8 gigabytes for an SD card. That's typically your best bet. These can be picked up at basically any store. If you're trying to save a few bucks, Best Buy will usually have a few on sale every so often. Amazon is always terrific for that. If you're being super gung-ho about it, Costco will sell you probably like 6, which is a ridiculous amount, but they're pretty cheap on a per card basis. This is just a great way to save all your extra photos on your camera and to always make sure you have extra space instead of being like, oh cool, there's a shot I want to take, but the SD card is completely full. Mom, can I delete the photos from grandma's birthday? You don't want to do that every time you take a photo, so having an extra SD card around can really help you. Also, if you lose one, at least that's not a panic to try to find another way to take photos. Speaking of SD cards, this is an SD card reader. What it is, it's a USB on one end. It takes your SD cards on the other side, and this can help you plug it into any computer and pull your photos off your SD card and put them on your computer. I suggest having one because if you're using a method for getting your photos off your camera, like using a cord hooking up to your camera and pulling them off, if the cord gets lost, if the cord gets frayed and dies, you really don't want to be stuck without your photos. So SD card reader can be a godsend in those situations. It's not necessary at all, none of this equipment is, but it is something I just suggest that I've realized is very convenient to have around. Just in general, you should probably look to back up your photos every so often if you're concerned about something. If you're using an old computer that has issues every so often, if you're using your phone in particular, you should really start looking at uploading your photos to some sort of cloud service, just for photography at least. I know a few years ago, I think somebody came up to me and said, hey, my camera, or something died and we lost all our photos, what can we do? And at that point, I can't do much for you. Not that I can help you much anyways, even if you use the cloud, but at least the cloud adds an extra measure of security for you. If you're taking photos throughout the year, Google Drive is terrific, Dropbox is terrific. I'm guessing whatever the Apple variant is for like the iCloud, that works too. Just this way then, all your photos are backed up, and then if something catastrophic happens, you're not just losing all your photos the entire year. Now, the fun stuff about the project. First of all, I'm again glad that you decided to enter this project or to sign up for this project. I hope it's a very fun experience for you as it was for me. One of the first things you should probably think about when you signed up for this, or one of the things you should start thinking about, is what do you like to photograph? If you've never taken photos before in your life, don't worry. That's where I started too, and I started off thinking, wow, there's so much stuff to photograph, and I don't think I like any of it, so why am I even doing this? On the bright side, you'll probably find something very quickly that you like a lot. There's a lot of things out there, obviously, to photograph. There's plants, there's animals, there's cars, there's houses. There is a countless number of things that you can photograph. And one of the things you should really think about is don't be afraid to experiment with what you're photographing. Again, there's so much stuff to take photos of, and you shouldn't limit yourself to just one field. As you saw, I have like a few things I like in particular, but I have a lot of photos otherwise saved on hard drives that just don't fit into that mold at all, that are completely random. I have pictures of people, I have pictures of animals. I've taken photos of sports, not my most favorite thing, but I've taken pictures of sports. So just experiment, try stuff out. Eventually you'll find shots you'll like and stuff that you tend to lean towards and that you'll be taking more photos of. My personal suggestion is that for newer members, things that don't move that much are probably your best bet to get into this project without being very frustrated with it. In that sense, nature stuff, mushrooms, trees, those are both really good things that are kind of interesting to photograph. Flowers are good, just don't overdo it. Still life such as cars, weird little artsy things you might have around your yard or your neighborhood. Nature, again, nature things that don't move. Rocks are cool, just natural formations, landscape. Plants, or not plants, animals, people, sports are all great and fun things to take photos of. It's just going to be very challenging when you start off. Just due to the fact that photography does have some sort of a skill cap with it, and you need to learn a little bit about it before you're extremely confident in doing certain things. I am still not the best at taking photos of animals, and I still get frustrated when I tried to photograph my dog and she would move her head at the last second. Even after having a number of years of experience, it's still frustrating to try to take photos like that. So it can be done, it's just something you need to put a little bit more time into and you might struggle with at certain points. I will link a survey in the email that I sent you. If you please take that survey, it'll help me and the other leader help you with focusing our meetings on material that you guys find interesting. So if nobody in the project likes to take pictures of people, we won't focus much time on people. If everybody wants to take pictures of dogs, we will focus it in more on dogs. Just that helps us out quite a bit. Just a few quick techniques about photography that I want you to start working on if you're going to be taking photos before the first actual meeting. One of the best things you can do is hold your breath right before you take a photo. By taking a breath, it limits how much your body's moving, and as a result, your camera won't be moving as much. This is really helpful to help prevent blurry photos, so holding your breath is a really, really good idea. Secondly, if your camera has an eyepiece, so instead of having a full screen, some cameras do have the eye part at the top where you can stick your eye up to it and take photos in that fashion. I would suggest that. Taking it through the eyepiece does add another point of balance on your body, and again, it'll help reduce the blurriness and shakiness of your photos. If you can, try not to use flash. I understand that if you're taking photos at night or in a dark location, you will have to use flash, just otherwise you won't get a photo. My personal opinion is that flash does create red eyes still. Flash creates unnatural lighting in some situations that might make your photos seem less realistic or less well put together. So if you can start working without flash, that's great. If you want to use flash, that's terrific as well. It's just something I personally suggest is getting out of the habit of using flash whenever you feel comfortable doing that. Finally, when you're taking photos, it's a very good idea to move yourself around. In that sense, like, if you're taking a photo of a flower, don't stand 5 feet away and use the zoom feature on your camera. Zoom is not the best in all situations. It's good if you can't get any closer, but if you can get closer by moving your body, do that. If you zoom too much and you try to blow up your photo, the print quality will be much lower and it will look like a much worse photo. So move around, put your camera above stuff, put your camera below stuff, move your body in different ways to try to get a different shot of each object you take a photo of. A little bit of like technical stuff now for the project in general, particularly record books. First off, I understand that life is incredibly hectic. I myself will be entering the hectic period of my life soon with classes beginning. Please try to attend as many meetings as you can. I know you're supposed to attend 50% of the meetings, and by some circumstance you can't. Please contact one of the leaders for this project, and we'll try to help you work through that. We think the meetings are very beneficial to helping you develop as a photographer, and with these videos we are also trying to help supplement that if you can't attend a meeting. Again, if you have any issues, please contact us. As well, as you know in the record book, it does have a set your goal for the year. You should probably start thinking about that now. For newer members, or any member in particular, it could be as simple as like getting better at blank kind of photography, so getting better at nature photography, getting better at still life photography. Those are both great spots to start out if you think that you have a particular interest you like to focus in on. If you took the project last year, one of the things that most people can usually improve on is making sure their photos are less cluttered. Taking a lot of junk out of the background, making sure the shot is cleaned up, moving yourself around so you have a better background image for it, just like making sure your photos aren't as cluttered. That can be a great thing to improve on too for this year. Finally, for some people you had great photos, but maybe you just didn't interview the best with the judge. One of the things that you can really do to help improve your interviewing skills is to learn more terminology about photography. So maybe your goal is to learn more about the terms used in photography to help better the presentation you can give about your photo. Those are all possibilities, and if you have any other goals you want to work on, please let me know, or just write them in your record book, and that works out great too. So that about covers it for this video. If you have any photos that you want me to critique or give you input on throughout the year, please just email me. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. The premium book is still on the Ozaukee County Fair website. I would advise checking that out. That'll give you a bunch of great ideas as to what you can take photos of during the year, or as to what you can enter into the fair, so you get a better idea of, like, okay, maybe I should look at taking some black and white photos, maybe I should take this series of 4. Just things you can look into so that you're less frustrated at the end of the year. Speaking of which, the record book entries at the top clearly state what age group they're meant to be entered for. If you're in a first or second year, you're in the first category. If you're in a third or fourth year, you're in the second category. If this is your 5th year or more, you're in the 3rd category. Please check that. It is based off of years in photography, not years in 4-H. Just had a few discrepancies with that in the past, and it's just something good you should probably look into sooner than later to make sure you're all set. So again, I'll try to upload a few of these videos throughout the year to help you with the project. For members that have been in the project for 3+ years, a lot of this might be review, so as a result I will have some alternate videos for you that'll help cover stuff that I think you guys could probably not improve upon, but things you might want to know about photography to help you improve. In particular, this will probably be your 5th time learning about the rule of thirds. You probably don't need to cover that as much, but you might want to learn something more unique that you can do with your photos if you feel confident in what you can do already. So again, my name is Rob Fugate. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. Feel free to send me photos. I'll try to get a few of these up. Otherwise, I will see you in person come the summer months. Hopefully May, June, and July. I'll be able to help lead meetings for this. Help you finalize a few things before fair starts, get a project done or two maybe. And I look forward to having a great year in photography with you. So thank you.